Hey, what's going on, guys? Good Saturday morning to you. Welcome into the Colten Kahler Show, presented by the Betting Superstore. Almost had to lost my train of thought there, but head over to the Betting Superstore today and get all of your merchandise needs for anything that you need, from t-shirts, sweatshirts, coffee cups, hats, you name it. You can find it at the Betting Superstore. Happy Easter weekend to you if you celebrate Easter this weekend. That is tomorrow, Easter Sunday. So, happy Easter weekend. It's a big weekend in sports. Got the MLB in full swing. NBA playoffs starting up. NHL playoffs will be starting up here soon, as there's about 8 regular season games left. A big weekend for the Blues here, I know. Blues take on the Wild here today, then they travel to Nashville tomorrow. Another big Central Division matchup, but a big week overall here in sports. So let's get into it a little bit. We'll start with, let's do a Friday recap in the MLB. Big week for the St. Louis Cardinals, I know that much. They've got the Milwaukee Brewers. Cardinals are on the road for a 4-game series. They lost the first one in a tough start by Adam Wainwright. Just couldn't get things going. Waino gave up a few runs early and kind of put them behind the 8 ball. Cardinals couldn't score. Albert Pujols tries stealing third. I thought that was pretty entertaining. I think Cardinals probably could have scored a run there and gotten back in that game. They were down 2-0, but unfortunately, Cardinals just couldn't get much going. They started the bases loaded. An inning or so later. It's one of those games. And then yesterday they respond very well. 10-1 final score. Miles Mikolas was dominant. 6 1/3, I believe, was his final line on that. Let's see. 6 2/3. 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 7 Ks. So a great bounce back start from Mikolas after a rough outing against the Pirates last time around. So that's big for him to pick that up. And something that I was hoping to see out of Mikolas this year. I mean, when he came to St. Louis in 2016 and even 2018, he was pretty dominant. He was very good. And so for him to really turn things around, I think is a big plus for that team. And to have him, if he's going to be pitching like that, they'll be all right. Excuse me. I'm, tired as always. It's been a long week. Wasn't able to, put content out for the show at all. I've just been absolutely swamped this week, but, that'll happen. So let's look elsewhere around the MLB from yesterday. I know the Yankees lost. They lost on a walk-off walk. Aroldis Chapman comes in and walks, I don't even know who, Urias, and Hayes scores on the bottom of the 11th, and that one is over. The Orioles escape with their second win on the year. They're 2-5, and the Yankees just continue to find new ways to blow it. Oh my goodness. The amount of pitchers that the Yankees used yesterday in 11 innings, they used 7 pitchers yesterday. That's unbelievable. Starting pitcher went 5 innings, and then after that, no one went any longer than an inning. That is unbelievable. That's a lot of pitchers used for the Yankees, and they lose the first game against the Orioles this year. So we'll see if they can bounce back here today. If you got any thoughts, comments, throw them in there, and I'll put them up here as well. It's a audience-generated show here. Aaron Boone was ejected after Chapman surrendered the walk-off walk. Very often do you ever see a coach get ejected after the game? Just ask my dad. He would know.
Your ticket to more exclusive
Okay, let's
access,
not
birthday
do
gifts,
that.
and rewards.
Sorry about that. It's the lovely ESPN app for you. But yeah, so the Yankees lost on a walk-off walk to the Orioles. Blue Jays with a big win over the Athletics. I believe Vlad Guerrero went yard in that game. White Sox got a big win over the Rays, 3-2. Rays at 4-4. it's a small sample size here early in the year, but you're seeing some teams that are kind of struggling off the start and some teams that are, kind of making a little bit of a surprise. I mean, the Rockies 5-2, who would have thought that? So that's a great start for Colorado. The Angels and Rangers. I want to talk about this one. The Angels, the bases were loaded. Yesterday was just a weird game for the Angels and Rangers because first off, Matt Vasgersian is doing the call for the Angels, but he's from his studio at home or whatever company produces their shows or their games. And the first pitch of the game, Ohtani goes yard and puts them up 1-0. That was a great shot by Ohtani. But then later in the game, bases are loaded for Corey Seager, and the Angels intentionally walk Corey Seager. They intentionally walk Corey Seager and allow the run to score. I mean, how the last, that's the Barry Bonds treatment right there. And I mean, Corey Seager is good, but he's not Barry Bonds good. I mean, the guy is, it was a dumb move in my opinion, a very, very dumb move, and it just shows the I wouldn't say the competence level, maybe Joe Madden. I don't know why they ended up winning, so maybe it worked out for them. I don't know, but it was just a weird game. And if you saw Mike Trout's reaction in the outfield, he was very, very confused at what was going on. And he's just mind blown at the fact that, you don't take your chance. To me, I'm never walking anyone with the bases loaded intentionally. If you get, 4 balls and on an actual at bat, so be it. What are you going to do? But I would never intentionally walk someone with the bases loaded. And then later in the game, there was another home run by an Angels player, and Vasgersian thought it was fouled off, and so he called it a foul ball, and then goes, "No, check that, it's a home run," and then gives the home run call. And I've got to say, calling a game from a studio is very difficult. I did 2 yesterday for Bradley softball. It is very, very difficult, and it truly puts it into perspective how much you enjoy being at the ballpark. And so I feel for Vasgersian a little bit because the guy gets a lot of heat. He's not, for the first time ever, he's not in the MLB The Show game this year. Boog Shambi, and I don't even know who the other guy is, have taken over that, and I've heard it's not going so well from those who play MLB The Show. So it's unfortunate, but nonetheless, the Angels did get the win yesterday over the Texas Rangers, 9-6. The Braves with a big win over the Padres. That thing was tied up at 2, and Braves win that one 5-2. The Dodgers with a 3-1 win over the Reds. Benches were almost clearing after that because Joey Votto got hit in the head by Tim Anderson, and Votto had some choice words there. A little bit of frustration there, and it's unfortunate, but the hit by pitches are way up this year. And if you wonder why, it's because the MLB changes the ball. So you young ones can get your home runs. You can get the exciting part of the game, but it also comes with a lot of strikeouts. It's much harder to control a pitch. It's much harder to control the baseball because there are absolutely no seams on the baseball. I mean, I caught a batting practice ball, and there's practically nothing on that thing compared to what an actual baseball probably used to be and what it continues to be. And when you can't put really anything on the ball or on your fingers or on your glove to help control the ball, a lot of people are going to get hit. So if you're frustrated at the MLB and there's a lot of players getting hit and you get these benches clearing situations, it's very hard to throw an MLB baseball. I can't imagine. And the fact that players are still able to get these things to move how they do, no wonder why everyone has arm injuries, and no wonder why everyone is so tight in pitchers, because you have to put so much force and torque on your arm to get these baseballs to move. Because you young ones, and you modern day baseball fans only want to see home runs, you only want to see the flash, you don't want to see the good stuff. You don't want to see strategy, small ball. I love small ball. I saw a sacrifice bunt in the Cardinals game on what, Thursday, and I stood there and I applaud Tommy Edman. Just a great bunt. I mean, I'm about as old man as it gets when it comes to baseball. Get off my lawn. I'm a traditionalist. But man, I saw that sacrifice bunt and it made my heart feel warm. So shout out to Tommy Edman and the St. Louis Cardinals for sticking with the small ball there in St. Louis. I truly, truly appreciate that because I hate the way the game of baseball is moving. Absolutely hate it. Could not hate it anymore. So that's your Friday recap in the MLB. Again, Cardinals the big winner. They play again today. Giants with the win over the Guardians. Phillies lost to the Marlins, and the Red Sox lost to the Twins. So all around a busy, busy Friday in the MLB. Let's look at the NBA playoffs coming up starting today. Not too much. Excuse me. There's a few games going on. Last night you had your final playing games. Atlanta with the late comeback over Cleveland. Big win there for the Hawks. Trae Young, 38 points to lead the Hawks. So they are back in the playoffs. And they take the 8th seed. The New Orleans Pelicans are able to beat the Los Angeles Clippers. Boy, that makes me happy. Even in years that I don't really care about the NBA like I do now, I could care less. I really don't know if I'll watch anything until the finals, but we'll see. The Pelicans with the big win, and they take the 8th seed Brandon Ingram with 30 points on the road in LA to get the win for the Pelicans. So they will take on the number 1 seed Phoenix Suns tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Time. Ooh, what a late game. That's going to be a tough one for Eastern Time Zone fans there. Wow, 8 p.m. start here, Central Time, 9 Eastern. So today we've got 4 games. Our first one here at noon Central, Utah at Dallas. And then after that, 2:30 Central, Minnesota at Memphis. I think that's going to be a very good series. We saw Minnesota with their big win and a lot of issues with their celebrations. I don't really care to begin with about the NBA. But their celebration, it was fine. You show a little emotion. I can never get mad at that. Maybe was it a little overboard? Maybe, but again, they're showing emotion, and it's something that I don't certainly mind seeing in the NBA. It's better than people who just don't care, like half the Lakers roster. So, I don't really mind. Third game today, Toronto at Philadelphia, 5 p.m. Central Time. These first 3 games are all on ESPN. And then tonight, the late game, 7:30 on ABC, Denver at Golden State. I think that game or that series is probably going to go 5, maybe 6 if Denver is lucky. I think Golden State wins this pretty easily. Jokic is about the only thing, Denver truly has, and it could be a matchup problem. But if Golden State is able to battle around Jokic, I think Golden State should win this series, no problem. I mean, you've got Steph, you've got Draymond, you got Clay. I really like the Warriors here in this matchup. And then tomorrow, you've got Atlanta at Miami at noon on TNT. Brooklyn at Boston. That'll be a good series. 2:30 on ABC. That series might go 7. Chicago at Milwaukee, 5:30 on TNT. I think the Bulls have a very good chance of getting swept. I really do. I'm an honorary Bulls fan this year because of Ayo Dosunmu, so I'll be cheering on for the Bulls, but the Bulls have yet to beat the Milwaukee Bucks this year, and it really hasn't been close. So that game, again, 5:30 Central Time, TNT. And then the last game, 8 p.m. TNT, New Orleans at Phoenix. Looking today, Utah and Dallas. Utah is the 5-point favorite on the spread. Money line at 210, minus 210 for the Jazz, plus 175 for the Mavericks. Over under at 209.5, 209 and a half. So I like Utah in this series until Luka comes back. It sounds like he's going to miss the first few games of this series, which could really hurt Dallas. I like the Jazz to get past this first round, especially if Luka's not playing much. So, it's a pretty easy pick, I think, for me. Memphis and Minnesota. Memphis is a 6.5-point favorite here. Um, I gotta say, as much as I want to go with the underdog, I really do. Actually, no, I do kind of like the underdog. I think they've kind of got that moxie, and Memphis is very good. Don't get me wrong, but Minnesota, I think that their defense, especially with Pat Beverly, might be able to slow down John Morant and that Grizzlies team. So I'm gonna go with the upset here, and I'm gonna go with the Timberwolves to beat Memphis. I'd say in 6 or 7 games. I think this one will go the distance here. So that's our second series. And then Toronto and Philadelphia. Philly minus 4.5 today. I'll probably go with the 76ers. That one seems, pretty reasonable. Joel Embiid, he's very good, and James Harden, they'll find a way to get it done. And then today, Denver at Golden State. Golden State minus 6.5. I will take the Warriors minus 6.5 here. That one I think is pretty easy of a pick there. So NBA playoffs, it's starting back up, in the NBA. If you didn't know, they're going back to the NBA final script, like the script logo. Probably the best thing the NBA has done since, I don't even know, forever, because the NBA, in my opinion, struggles. So I like the old script logo, but again, I don't know how much I'll be watching of the NBA playoffs this year. But there's my picks, so you have it right there. Okay, that's a bot. Let's see here. Weekend preview for the NBA or the MLB. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so today we've got Minnesota at Boston still. Boston lost yesterday. Tampa Bay at Chicago. Oakland at Toronto. Atlanta at San Diego. 3:05. That's on FS1, so a big game there. Cardinals play tonight at 6:10 Central Time. St. Louis at Milwaukee. Steven Matz versus Adrian Hauser. Two guys that have kind of struggled a little bit this year. But Cardinals struggled against Hauser last year. New York at Baltimore still. Jamison Tyone and Tyler Wells in that pitching matchup. Chicago at Colorado. Houston at Seattle. That'll be a good series. Justin Verlander versus Chris Flexen. And then tonight, Cincinnati at Los Angeles. Hunter Green versus Julio Urias. So a big series there for both teams. Let's see. Let's look at the Cardinals. I think this is a big game for the Cardinals because Steven Matz really needs a bounce back performance. Only went 3 innings last time out in his first start. Had a blister and a cut that didn't allow him to finish his pitches. I've been there, done that. It's not the most pleasurable experience to throw with a blister or bleeding finger and whatnot. So I've been there, done that. I know how difficult that can be. 3 innings, 9 hits, 5 Ks, and I believe he gave up 5 runs in 3 innings on a grand slam as well as part of that. So not the most ideal outing. Hauser went 3 2/3 in his first start, gave up 4 hits, struck out 3 walks. So he'll have to, find his command. But Nolan Arenado, I mean, that guy is about as hot as it gets. And also today's his birthday. So Nolan, if this somehow ever gets to you, happy birthday. But he is as hot as it gets right now. Batting .435, 12 RBIs, 4 home runs, slugging over 1,000, on base percentage at about a 500. I mean, couldn't ask any more out of this guy. And he's really making a case for National League MVP. I mean, as of right now, no one in the NL is hitting better than Nolan Arenado. And I mean, he is just mashing balls. And last night sends a rocket just about the the top of the fence. It bounces off the top of the wall, goes over for a 2-run home run, gets the Cardinals to 10 on the evening. I mean, just absolutely is mashing balls right now. Obviously, had a great opening series against the Pirates. Hit another home run against the Kansas City Royals, and then got one last night. So far, Arenado is hot, hot, hot to start the season for the Cardinals. Elsewhere, Albert Pujols, obviously, he's doing all right. He got the start, the nod on Thursday night. Had a couple hits, I believe, or maybe one hit. I can't remember. But they were doing all right. Tyler O'Neill had a great bounce back performance last night. 3 for 5 night, I believe, for O'Neill. So a good evening for him. But your St. Louis Cardinals are in first place, half game above the Chicago Cubs, and the Milwaukee Brewers are a game back again. Very early, and it's a small sample size here early, so a lot can change. But I would expect and hope for that to stay where it's at heading into next month, May. We're almost there, halfway through April here. We're actually towards probably the end of it. So let's take a look at my picks for you this weekend. My picks for you: Golden State -6.5 tonight. I think Golden State will be able to get out and transition. They'll be able to run a little bit on Denver. And I mean, anytime Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are playing together, I really like their chances. And Golden State could be an upset team, to beat one of the top 2 seeds this year. They're a 3 seed coming in, so Golden State, do not be surprised if they find their way back to the finals after it seemed like they were in the finals for forever with the Cleveland Cavaliers and other teams as well. So -6.5 tonight, I like that. I like the Nets money line +150. Tomorrow they play the Celtics. I think this is a series that the Nets can win. Kyrie, KD against the Celtics. I mean, it's going to be a very good series. It's going to go 6 or 7 games, in my opinion. Ben Simmons is expected to come back for the Nets, and I don't know what he'll be able to provide because, one, I don't think Ben Simmons is that good, but he hasn't played in how long, so what will he be able to do for the Nets? And it might actually hurt them more than anything because you've got so much chemistry and things that you've built up with the team that you currently have, and then just to throw Ben Simmons in there at some point in the postseason, I don't really know. And then tonight, Cardinals and Brewers. I want the over on 8.5. Both game. I don't think actually the first game went over 8. No, it was only 6. So last night it was 11. But today, with both pitchers, I don't expect to see a pitching duel. And for whatever reason, whenever the Cardinals and Brewers play each other, things get really weird, especially on the weekend. It seems like there's a lot of scoring between the two teams. So I will take the over at 8.5 tonight on that. I think the Cardinals will be able to score some runs, and the Brewers might be able to score some runs off Mats as well. So, I mean, if you get like a 5-4 game, or so, I like that for the over there. But there's my weekend picks, and there's kind of the weekend for you. Again, it is Easter weekend here if you choose to celebrate Easter. So happy Easter to you. And I think that's going to do it for me here today on the Colten Kahler Show. Again, you've got MLB, you've got the NBA playoffs starting up today, you've got the NHL playoffs coming right around. If the Blues win tonight over the Wild, they clinch a playoff spot and would take control of that number 2 seed against the Minnesota Wild. So battling for home ice advantage there. It's a big weekend in sports all around, but enjoy it. And I will see you Tuesday night for Between the Lines with Tanner Kern. But until then, this is Colten Kahler saying see ya, and see you next week on the Saturday morning show with Colten Kahler.